Give me a call or find me on them internets at www.
Super Mario World 2, only on the Super NES. The Earth, that's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever...
かゆい水虫にシンピロエース。
しかも5合目まで乗り換えなしで行けるのです。
5合目まで行ってくれんだ。
ハロー、こんにちは。どちらのお国の方ですか？
Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia.
一緒？セイム？
Yeah.
理由は何しに日本へ？
Vacation. Yeah. We're gonna try and see how food you do.
マウント富士行くの？
行っておいでよ。
観光5日目。これから富士山に行くんだって。
And I wanted to try the food. Here, the food's amazing. So, fire ramen in Kyoto yesterday.
Fire ramen?
Yeah.
いやろう。燃えてんの？
ファイヤーっていうのは辛いんですか？
No, they set it on fire.
おお、もう本当に燃えるんだ。
何これ？ラーメンから？
マジ？
ファイヤー！
マジ？何これ？
ネギがどっさりラーメン。燃えた油で香りがアップするんだって。大興奮。
Oh, yes, very good. Yeah, very good. Okay.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Bunny Hop Super Sad Poverty Fight Stream. I want to take you for a ride back and forth, in and out of a couple rooms of my house. Oh cool, there's at least 5 people here, so I'm not saying this to nobody. I'm rendering the next big Super Bunny Hop video. I'm really proud of this, but the topic's kind of niche. I don't know how many people will be watching it, so emergency levers are being pulled. I am going to try to crap out extremely quickly the a video on mugenics. I don't know how fancy it's going to be. Actually, I do know how fancy. Not very fancy at all. I'm going to try to do something I haven't done since I was a young 21-year-old, and that is crap a video out in a week. I have a strategic plan about GoFundMe promotion this month that is absolutely needed. This big bill from the lawyer that can pay for 2 cars has to get paid, and I have to keep my head above water afterwards because the HOA is going to have a huge axe to grind against every single resident in the building, pretty much. They've implemented a horrible new policy. I can't believe this one. I don't know how long they'll get away with this one. But basically, they've implemented an anti-handicap, anti-elderly policy where the parking spots close to the building's entrances can no longer be used by the handicapped and elderly who need them. They're going to have to walk all the way around the building to the front, and depending on their parking spot, that's going to mean climbing stairs and climbing hills. Now, half the building's parking spots are underground, and everyone who parks underground is actually going to have to walk up a really steep incline of a ramp into oncoming traffic. And when I say everyone who parks underground, that means the elderly and the handicapped down there. Some of them have COPD, some of them are using walkers. This is this is absolutely going to get someone hurt or killed, or cause hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of property damage whenever an inevitable emergency happens and the electronic equipment on the front door to get in fails. It has failed in the past, and at some point when it fails in the future, I would not be surprised if someone just tries to break the glass on the door to get back inside. Previously, there would have been alternative ways to get inside. Now there's just this one. So if the locks fail, and they have failed before, what the fuck are we supposed to do? I'm going to be playing UFO 50, and let's get some music going on here. We got to brighten the mood somehow. I think it's because my Windows volume mixer has it on mute. There we go. And UFO 50 is what I'm choosing tonight because I don't want to pick a game that I'll be dedicated into, like, long, concentrated sessions. Hello, Average Liar. That's a clever username. So I'm picking UFO because it has ultra short play sessions. I'm gonna do Magic Garden because I can just zone out into the hypnotic. Audio's too loud. Boop, boop, boop. I can zone out into a hypnotic, therapeutic, soothing ritual that is what I need right now after many days of hardcore editing. But yeah, the video that I'm cooking up is cooking in the next room over. I thought it would be out tonight, but I guess it's technically going to be out in the early morning of tomorrow, because it might come out at like 12:01 a.m. at this rate. The old hardware that I'm using to render it is going to take about 2 hours per render, and I made a mistake on my first render attempt, almost as always, and thus, I'm gonna have to wait an extra 2 hours that I'd rather not, but gonna have to. But oh well. I got 2 hours after the months I have spent on this. Like I said, this is a video I'm proud of. I read a very fancy book on literature criticism and applied the principles learned. And the game in question is niche, but mildly popular. It was in the news. Oops, I missed that. Oh, he was barely in my square. Alright, so, reason I picked UFO 50 is the short play sessions. What I need to do now is go in the other room and check on how the render's doing, and set a timer on my smartphone to bug me when it's scheduled to complete, so that I can upload it, the ad-free version, to Nebula, and then scurry on back and start rendering the ad version for YouTube, and then scurry back here and play some UFO 50, and then scurry back and upload the ad version for YouTube. And there might be some network latency involved because I'm going to be uploading a big 1080p 60 30-minute long video essay at the same time as streaming. So a 2D pixel art game like this with a lot of big blocks of solid colors is going to be easy on the bandwidth. Short play sessions mean I can scurry back and forth. Nebula's been good to me, and I am very grateful for that. There's not many people who can say that right now. UFO 50 has this cute little... Where is it? How do I... No, shit, fuck, ass, no, I already beat magic. Okay, you go all the way down here, and then set it to garden. Jeez, that took quite a few button presses to get to. But yes, I can leave something of entertainment value on the screen, because the garden is a kind of built-in screensaver where some kind of AI, I think, is guiding the little guy around who explores the house and the artifacts that you earn from beating the games good. So therefore you get to see how few of the games I have beaten, despite playing this game on and off for over a year at this point. So yes, I'm gonna go set my smartphone timer for when the render is scheduled to complete, and I will be right back. right. You got it. It says it'll be done in 1 hour and 42 minutes. Right around my 2-hour estimation. So that means I'm setting my timer for 1 hour 43 minutes, because you can't trust these things these days. Oopsie whoops, I accidentally typed in 1 hour 43 seconds. 143, double O. There we go. Whoa, what the hell's going on? Oh my god, that watering can sounded like an attack helicopter firing missiles. Yeah, Jux, I wanna let's just talk with chat. We're gonna have low volume tonight, considering the hours and the subject matter. Popping in to say that I heard there was a new Super Bunny Hop on the way. That's very exciting news. Thanks, George. Yeah, Nebula's been good to me. Very excited to watch a new George video. Is Nebula not working well for the majority of creators? No. What I meant by not many can say that is that not many people can say that a higher authority in an employment role, a boss, if you will, is being good to people. I actually... Wait, I maybe not... couldn't... How much could I say? Okay, while the deal is being worked out, I bet they would want me to say this. I'm going to be making some Nebula content if the deal goes through that will help me out in this huge awful jam that I'm having, and it's a concept I've been looking forward to doing for a while. Yeah, Nebula is a good friend to have for the position that I am in right now. So the video essay in question, I don't think I need to beat around the bush either. Why am I pretending like it's going to be a plot of Game of Thrones that I'm spoiling here? The video is going to be a 30-minute long piece of archetypal criticism, not archetypical criticism, but archetypal criticism about the controversial, shocking sex horror game Horses, which was banned from Steam and Epic Games in a pretty infamous scandal back in December. I have been working on this video since late January, around the time I finished up the Tammy Roche promo, and then my mom had a stroke. I think that is primarily the event that is to blame for the delay, but if I looked it up, I'm sure I would find a few other episodes of stupid bullshit. I realized that I cannot do videos this fancy the same month the game comes out in this situation until the mom situation works itself out. That is and I think at my current age, I just have less energy than I did in my 20s, right? So because of my newfound legal financial obligations, which are currently the most money I've ever spent in my life, and hopefully will be the most money I ever spent in my life, we're going to decrease quality and increase quantity for a few months on the Super Bunny Hop youtube.com/bunnyhop show channel. This video is me incorporating a reading I've been doing since maybe November. The Judaro video is when I started this book, and the Horses video is going to be when I finish this book, and it is it's Anatomy of Criticism by Northrop Frye, in which he describes the archetypal criticism concept. And I used readings from this book. I read the book all the way through, and I'm bragging about it because it's not like reading Lord of the Rings. It's a big, fancy, non-picture book for adults, yeah, but this is like really dry, non-fictional theory that is mostly professional advice for professionals who have one of the weirdest, most abstract careers possible. And that is old school literature, art, poetry critics. It is career advice for a dead career, and even with regards to the kind of advice that he's given, it's kind of outdated in and of itself. It's called archetypal criticism because what you do is you research some 2,000-year-old classical basics of storytelling as described by ancient Greeks like Plato and Aristotle. and try to see where the modern literature fits into some kind of schema of this ancient literature, under the assumption that making literature and telling fun stories that people get profound meanings out of is an actually primordial ancient human instinct that is being repeated over and over again in a slightly different way every new generation. Now, in the world of mainstream art criticism across most mediums, this is considered outdated. It is easily considered Eurocentric, hence the focus on the ancient Greek stuff. Also not super compatible with the kind of criticism that people have been getting more excited about in modern times since the 1960s and 70s, and that is the postmodernism, Foucault, death of an author stuff. Video games, on the other hand, I feel are a little different and maybe worth this style, because video games are full of archetypes. It's called archetypal criticism because what you do is you learn about archetypes. Recurring symbols, thousands of years old, that show up in all sorts of different stories for more or less the same purpose, going all the way back to the very first episodes of recorded history in Northrop Frye's frame of reference. That would have been ancient Greece. Since then, Mesopotamia got unearthed, and Joseph Campbell did something similar for more mainstream audiences by saying that, like, Gilgamesh is repeating these patterns too. I don't necessarily think that's wrong. It's just that Joseph Campbell is apparently easy mode for high schoolers, and Northrop Frye is the hard mode for grad students. So the reason I bring archetypes up and say that this kind of outdated form of what would you say, structuralist criticism from the 1950s and 60s and the immediate decades following the post-war era when World War II was scaring everyone into a kind of conservative period. Video games use archetypes. Cameron Cusselman's quote that video game writers should rely on stereotypes has not aged gracefully, but that is a quote I will cite for the kind of sort of dilemma of video game writing and video game stereotypes and the usual level of quality that they reach, and why I feel it would be appropriate to use this method here. It is because video game writers consciously use stereotypes in a way that other mediums don't. Video game writers tend to overemphasize the archetypes and the stereotypes and the familiarity and the repetitive patterns of an established genre. Video games are a iterative art form. You can have two completely different games telling completely different stories that are basically an unofficial sequel to one another. Let's say, for example, going from Metal Gear to Splinter Cell. If you play Metal Gear as a kid and then play Splinter Cell as a teenager, you have a head full of archetypes that are making that experience make far more sense than if you went into Splinter Cell blind. Metal Gear is so full of stereotypes and archetypes, it is imitative of other kinds of art that themselves are repeating ancient recurring patterns of seemingly instinctive, almost, human instincts of storytelling. So, Horses is absolutely, I think, ripe ground for this. It bills itself as shocking avant-garde art, but I feel that the story it's telling is a fairly classic ancient hero's journey, as are most video games going to be. That is not as interesting to say as the weeds you could get into about the minutiae within the hero's journey archetypes. I gained a lot from this book. I absolutely fell in love with the author. He might be outdated, but he is profoundly influential on the post-structuralist Michel Foucault, death of an author type critics, and also to Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell is Northrop Frye, but for entry level. So I'm very excited to see literally anyone in the comments know who I'm talking about with this, and then see those same people in the comments at the end of the 30 minutes say, "Oh wow, someone actually went and did it. Someone read that Northrop Frye author I loved in college and used it for video game criticism." It's a game that doesn't necessarily have to be taken seriously, but it is trying to. And not many critics out there are taking it seriously. I think I am going to be one of the few in the English-speaking world who really saw some serious artistic depth to the game Horses. When looking up reading material on the game while writing the video, I did notice that it was received a lot more positively in the Italian language video game publications, of which there might be 2. Which makes sense. There would be national bias of national pride involved. But it's more than just skin deep there. The Italian critics did manage to find some real meat to chew on this bone that English language critics did not, unless you're George Super Bunny Hop Weedman. I'm very excited. I think this is great. It's great writing quality. It is great criticism quality. It might be some of the best video game criticism going around on YouTube right now. I sure do wish I didn't have to edit a video to go along with it, because I'm sure there's better criticism in written form. But as far as YouTube stuff goes, I might get around to watching some other videos when I finish publishing, but I have very little faith that they're taking the project as seriously as I did. I'm very excited to see how this goes, if you can tell. I also like how I can play this game without really having to think about what I'm doing. There's little to no reason to dictate out loud my strategy here, you know? So let's see. I should converse with Twitch chat when a stopping moment arrives, and I don't know how compelled I am to see this session through, because trying to actually get a new high score on this game is not something I'm incentivized to do with in-game rewards anymore. But I guess, okay, actually, while I'm not looking at the Twitch chat and looking at the game, here's a good question for you guys. Have you heard, I'm sure many of you have heard of the game Horses. I shouldn't be presuming, because it did fall out of the news for a few months up until they won the Nuovo Award at GDC this month. Have you guys heard of, thank God, have you guys heard of the game Horses? What do you think? There's going to be some pushback here. It's divisive. Not everyone likes it. I mentioned earlier about how the English-speaking world seems less warm on it than the native language it was published in. But I expect that my positive opinion of Horses is going to receive some degree of pushback from a lot of gamers who think the game is garbage. That's going to be fun, because I'm very confident in my opinion that I put out here, and that people who watch it all the way through will come to change their mind on the game. So let's talk to Twitch chat. I'm going to talk to Twitch chat. The thank you for clarifying. Jux says, "Oh hell yes," and then clarifies that the hell yes was not about your mother's stroke. Let me get a browser window open. People will know who exactly I'm responding to, so that the respondents will get very excited. Here's another question to just throw out to the chat people. I would like to read other big, boring, non-fiction, professional advice books for adult professional critics. I would like to do some kind of grand tour of the various styles and themes. The OBS fucking window capture's not working. It's not... Oh, it's capturing... There we go. That was my mistake. It was capturing a portion of the Twitch window that was displaying the game, fooling me into thinking it was capturing the game. Okay, so Jux, you were on hot water, buddy, but you sure did talk your way out. The hell yes was not about your mother's stroke. It's so funny saying that, because my mother had a stroke in 2007, and then had 2 strokes in recenter years. This woman may have had 3 strokes in total across her entire life at this point, and her ability to talk immediately went down the toilet even back in 2007. What is Jesus Christ? She's been dying on her deathbed for 2 years now, but I rest assured I'm ready for it. It's something I've been ready since I was a teenager, 2007. So when you say your mother's stroke, it's like gonna mean something pretty different to me than the audience. But your caution has been noticed. What do you like? 35, something like that. I'm glad to hear you found a good revenue source in Nebula. I've always felt your scripts are premium enough for a premium service. So, good revenue source, that is also a somewhat nebulous concept. Good potential revenue, but the catch-22 is that it still is going to require a shitload of hard work to get that good revenue. I'm gonna try. I'm always up for an ambitious, tough challenge. And the series that I'm going to be working on is going to be tough to get it out in time for the deadlines being requested. But if I do manage it, the money will be good, and then I will relax for a good long time. Oh, what is this Metroid like? I don't remember hitting this one. This one looks crazy. Maybe I should just keep going down the list instead of playing my favorite UFO 50 games. Maybe I should finally see what the second half of the catalog is like. What I have questions about this game that I'll get to when I finish scrolling down the chat. I'm glad I got the lifetime subscription for that. The yellow pickup looks like a Mr. Cup. All right, one of these two messages. What a series. I feel like I just went through a series, not a mini series, but a regular series of just 2 entries of these 2 messages. They had a beginning and an end and a narrative sequence with pacing to it. But yeah, Kai Huevos, I'm glad I got the lifetime subscription for that. Knowing what it is like to have a normal person's amount of money in my bank account for a few months did clue me into how much the regular person probably considers $100 worth of value to be, and I kind of agree. Nebula's lineup right now is great. There's some good stuff on there. I was having one of my lonely bachelor nights watching through the Politit series, and then I got into Abolish Everything and fell asleep giggling like a baby. There's a really fun series about the political history of boobs that I'm going to be giving a shout out. The specific recommendation though I'm doing is Liam Triforce. Liam Triforce is doing some classic Super Buddy Hop stuff. There's this series where he's doing biographies of unknown Zelda game developers. Like majorly important game directors within the Zelda franchise who have directed maybe half the games in the series, but no one knows these guys because Shigeru Miyamoto and Eiji Aonuma keep stealing the fucking spotlight. Oh, there's a composer, a woman. What did you know that most of your favorite Zelda music was actually not composed by Koji Kondo, but by I feel bad for not even remembering her name, but then again, Japanese culture is pretty different about this, and she might not even really care that much. Most of the Zelda music has been directed by a woman. Half of the Zelda games have been directed by a guy named Fujibayashi, whose name I do remember because I did watch through that whole episode, and I'm going to watch through the next one afterwards. Maybe tonight, actually, while relaxing. Point is, Nebula's real good right now. I am going to be doing this. This sponsor is done with a heartfelt sense of genuine honesty. So yeah. I got 3 recommendations for you. Abolish Everything, Politits, and honestly, I probably should have started with Liam Triforce's Legends of Zelda because that is the most bunny hop one like on the list, and therefore if you're a fan of me, you probably would want to watch that one before the others. Hey chat, hope you're doing well. Could the archetypal method be applied to non-Eurocentric media though? Absolutely. One of, Joseph Campbell himself did this. He studied Native American myths, and well, the catch is that you're still interpreting them through Plato and Aristotle's descriptions of epics, which is like a fairly nicely compatible description of a fun story for all ages and all genders, but mainly for young boys. Where you go on the boy goes on a violent adventure and turns into a man, and that is called the hero's journey. The catch is that you can look at other cultures' literature, but still end up with the Eurocentric biases, where you're going to want to interpret borderline fucking everything as a hero's journey. The catch is that the genre's descriptions and archetypes are kind of sort of versatile and vague. By intention, because the whole idea is to try to break all world literature down to familiar patterns of schema. Yeah. So you can do it, but you're still gonna fall into the same catch, which is why I'd like to do as much serious reading about some other flavors of criticism. But my God, I don't want to read Michel Foucault himself, unless I have a really good guide with me. That would be fun. It would be really fun to do a grand tour of various genres of criticism, because I had the time of my life discovering archetypal criticism. So, writers or designers? Are you talking about narratives being stereotypical or mechanics? Well, so the fun thing about archetypal criticism is that you can... The fun thing about archetypal criticism when you're Super Bunny Hop George is that you already have this page of game analysis worksheets in your project folders that you got from Eric Zimmerman readings 10 years ago that you can then smush into your page of notes from Northrop Frye and then interpret the mechanics as archetypal messages. One thing is the ritual. When you are being asked by a storyteller, whether it's 10,000 BC and you're sitting around the campfire trying to get pumped up for the next mammoth hunt, or it's 2026 and you're sitting in front of your computer doom scrolling, the like conscious intention of moving your body through a repetitive sequence of like flicking your thumbs, it causes you to focus. It makes you flush your previous thoughts out. So doing a dance around an Ice Age bonfire and repeating a mantra about hunting the mammoths real good tomorrow is somewhat similar to scrolling through a smartphone of incredibly negative news, because you are repeating bodily motions that carry with them some kind of meaning associated with the message, of which in both cases it is preparing you for a big deal going on in the future. Preparing for a mammoth hunt versus preparing for social collapse. Preparing for danger. Preparing for danger, that's the commonality between the two. See, you like break these activities down, see what common mental associations are associated with them, and then draw commonalities between the two. And then also try to frame the modern media as the same instincts being fulfilled by primordial human behaviors from prehistory that seem to come with natural human instincts. If I had more time, I could probably bring some stronger analogies between doom scrolling as a ritualistic storytelling art form compared to other prehistoric or Stone Age. Yeah, that's the other thing. Northrop Frye is going to use the word primitives a lot, and you gotta prepare yourself for that. But yeah, that's the idea. Is modern entertainment is a modern version of ancient rituals. So the mechanics in a game would count as a ritual. If I am trying to play UFO 50 to turn my brain off and relax after a hard week of tough work, while also knowing that I have a very hard month of tough work ahead of me, that might be somewhat similar to sitting around the campfire and with your family tribe and I don't know, smoking while praying for good times ahead. And the prayers are not, I say prayer, yeah, not story. It's not complicated. Positive mental thinking is something that combines with something that's keeping the fingers busy, that is keeping me from wandering off and doing something more dangerous, which could potentially even include doing more work and burning myself out. There's a subconscious psychological process to rituals and storytelling and literature that keeps people sane, and why the AI art is probably never going to replace human-made art. There's psychological, emotional needs being fulfilled here. That sounds like an awesome thesis. I've heard of Uma Musume. Thank you for making the same joke everyone's gonna make. I consciously resisted. I don't know what that stuff is anyway, but you cannot believe how hard I'm rolling my eyes. You can probably hear it in my voice, actually. I'm so tired of seeing Uma Musume jokes associated with horses, and everyone's just gonna make fun of me for that and post more Uma Musume jokes related to horses, aren't they? You're not. You're right. I've heard of Uma Musume. Most original joke in the world award right there for you, Kai Oivos. I've not heard of it, and I'm super tuned into video game news. Well, you're not tuned in enough. Corn that lefty. I saw horses pop up on whatever video game news feeds the social media algorithm has decided to show me, because it was big news when it got big news. It was medium news when it got banned from Steam, because the game developer already published very respectable, award-winning, genuinely good games before. And the assumption that they would do something so awful as to deserve a ban was an eyebrow raiser from that. Then they got banned from Epic Games Store, and at that point it was big news. It went from medium news, I would say, to big news for about a couple weeks. That was when the developers made a big, long post explaining that they really did not know what the fuck was going on, and why specifically they were getting these bans. There was a scene in question that could be a likely candidate where there was a little girl involved with the horrible horrors of this farm, and so they aged her up to 20 and then resubmitted it and got approved for a little while and then banned again. They were trying to follow the rules. They were trying to tackle very serious, mature topics, but in a respectable way that would follow the rules while still exploiting shock value associated with the mature associated themes. But the key word is respectful. They were always trying to follow the rules and do what they were trying to do respectfully. I believe that what they were trying to do is tell a story that does need to be told, and that you can tell in the game. They're trying their hardest to follow the rules and not offend anyone, and it still happened anyway. So after they got banned from Epic, they briefly got banned by Humble, and then Humble changed their mind. It was banned and then reapplied to Humble. At that point, I am confident in saying it was big news for a couple weeks. So the reason I want to say it was big news is because this is a story that a lot of people who follow entertainment or political news across various mediums could all agree on a interpretation of that news as being something they all care about, which is the news being evidence of further social collapse in our society. The big difference here versus previous episodes of game bans that I would hear about when growing up with, where Nazi symbols in Germany were getting banned. Meanwhile, in Germany, there were actual neo-Nazis making things like concentration camp managers. I can understand it in that case. In the U.S. cases, what big controversy? In the U.S. case, what even got banned in U.S. history? In Japanese history, there's occasional bannings over the fucking lolicon bullshit. In European history, you have bannings, and in Australian history, ironically, you have bannings over Nazi shit. But this doesn't fit any of those boxes. This is just a game telling a story about prisoners being abused, and it's a story that it doesn't do an awful job of telling. But it's the nudity, the fact that a portion of the story is about kids growing up in this society and what it's doing to their brains. So I guess, yeah, the rub, and the reason why it was big news is that subversive horror games were starting to get banned. This has happened a couple times before, and Horses, I think, is the highest profile incident of it, where games that tackle sexual subjects were able to euphemistically get away with stuff that games are now trying to be a little more blatant and direct about. Apparently mouthwashing came and went just fine, but in my video I'm going to be using some examples from years past, such as The Path. The Path is a game about sexual assault that does it euphemistically, not as explicitly as Horses does, but is absolutely about it from moment you begin the game to end it. And that came and went just fine. There was no controversy over that. The controversy here is that subversive horror started to get the same kind of treatment that Nazi propaganda and child pornography was getting. And that's definitely different. That is not how bans were decided for most of video game history up until fairly recent years. Let's see, because in the US, like, the de facto ban was getting an AO rating, which didn't happen that often, but you could, like, circumvent around it by selling Leisure Suit Larry magna cum laude on Direct to Drive instead of in the store where kids could go. Oh yeah, there was GTA San Andreas getting the hot coffee stuff. They were in hot water for that, but it took a while for me to remember that because GTA San Andreas was always around, never went anywhere, but a specific version of that got de facto banned in the US, while the PC version never really had to do anything to adjust for what the retail bans were being imposed. The government is not involved with this thing in America. It's the corporations who are in control in America. And if media gets banned, it's going to be because, in America, it's going to be because the corporations decide it's not profitable enough. Or it's child pornography that institutes a direct threat to violence. Last time I talked about this, I looked this stuff up. I was using the Anarchist Cookbook as an example of what wonderful freedom of speech we get to enjoy in America because they have bomb recipes in it. It turns out that you can't actually publish bomb recipes. That falls under the direct threat of violence rules. But the Anarchist Cookbook was fine because it turns out that the bomb recipes were bad. So yeah, that's a horror game being too spooky because sometimes you witness naked people get abused to death is not really under those same rules. The direct threat to violence is not there. This game is not posing a threat to society. I don't think you could interpret it in that way at all. Whereas stuff that usually gets banned is supposed to be, like, putting society in danger somehow. There's got to be victims or the potential for some really nasty copycat crimes, like distributing bomb recipes could potentially do. I'm saying all this in answer to this question of it being news. For a while it was news. It was medium to big news for me in December, and then small to medium news in March when they won the GDC Nuovo Awards and made some publications about how they were able to break even on the project, and maybe not necessarily turn a profit, but they did publish some news on how they could make some lemonade out of the situation and at least didn't lose money on the game and broke even and won another award for the studio out of it. The other thing that they got going for them now is press coverage. A hell of a lot of people are going to be looking forward to the next Santa Ragione game than before, myself included. This year, getting back into Bunny Hop has really, like, given me two new favorite indie game developers. Jack King Spooner and Santa Ragione. I feel very good looking forward to weird, low-budget, indie, experimental, confrontational and subversive, and also, like, mature for adults games that I definitely did not have that a few years ago, and it was contributing to a lot of depression and burnout. Let me move on. Goodbye Horses. Have not heard of Horses. I heard of it through the articles. Haven't played it. Hear it's good. I'll be challenging that too because my impression is that the critical reception has been negative and that positive reviews are going to be in the minority, which means mine will be in the minority. Can't go wrong reading Stephen King's own writing. That's entry level. I already knocked that out before founding the channel. I took notes on that and used them, and I'm looking for something harder. Stephen King's advice, I think, is also... It's good, but kind of shallow. It's basically... What I remember from that book taking away is write what you know. So, I feel like I've done that. Now what? Right? What happens when you've relatively succeeded at whatever goals you set out to do with the weird creative career job you wanted as a youth but maybe have grown out of? Stephen King's advice, I think I have exhausted. If it does boil down to that, I think it's exhausted that. Oh yeah, and then he like just wants you to minimize your verbs, which you also get from journalism school. Write what you know and minimize your verbs. I'm looking for something more complicated. I haven't seen any videos or streams about this game, but it doesn't seem like something I'd shell out for at the moment. Well, it's only $5. It's an artsy-fartsy walking simulator. If you like artsy-fartsy walking simulators and have $5 to spend, I think this is one of the best ways you could spend $5 on an artsy-fartsy walking simulator. Well, you sold me a Lifetime Nebula thing. That's sad, but I think I understand the sentiment. When my grandma was dying, it was a relief she was only really suffering for a weekend. Mom has been suffering for a lot longer than a weekend, unfortunately. I've been on the phone with her a lot for the past few weeks, and her personality has been declining for 8 years, but it took a I say this every time, but it is true. Her personality took a rapid decline in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago I said the same thing, and 2 weeks before I said the same thing, 2 weeks before I said that. 2 weeks ago I might have gotten a single word per conversation. 2 weeks before that I might have gotten words and syllables. 2 weeks before that I think she did have the stroke and it was all syllables. But this week it's been silence. It has been silence. She can't really even make noises with her mouth anymore. And Jesus Christ, who the hell knows what it's like being in the mind of that from her perspective. It sounds absolutely terrifying. One of the things the relatives has told me is that sometimes the word that comes out is hell. She is unable to speak. Very, very rarely a word or two or a syllable will come out, and one of the relatives thought that one of those words was hell. She might be thinking of hell right now. That's fucking terrifying. I'm doing what I can to try to get the caretakers to try to get her thinking of heaven, right? That's the whole idea of heaven. Humans invented heaven so that dying old people can think of that on their deathbed instead, right? Apparently that's not happening. That's fucking terrifying. Ugh. You got some Nebula Rex? I think I got that question answered. It was, abolish everything, politics, and, Liam Triforce's Legends of Zelda. I wake up at 3 a.m. and think, damn, I really needed it. I wonder if that prepare for danger part of storytelling is Eurocentric as well, or if that's cross-cultural. If it makes you feel any better, the primary thesis of Northrop Frye's ideas on storytelling being some kind of biological evolutionary instinct is less about preparing for danger so much as it is just making humans empathetic. Storytelling puts you in the perspective of someone else. It gets you to imagine someone else's situations. One of the most beautiful examples of his writing was that you don't actually watch Hamlet to know what it's like to kill people and get away with it. You watch a play of Hamlet to know what it's like to earn a kingdom but lose your soul. The epics, the ancient storytelling from medieval times and earlier is about getting you to feel like a king that is dealing with very high stakes problems, unlike your average peasant's life at all. It's for empathy. It's to make sure that all the human beings on planet Earth at least have some kind of idea about what it's like living in everyone else's shoes. So it's not just for preparing for danger, it's also for keeping people together, and I think that's beautiful. Oh yeah, Rule of Rose. It's mostly European pearl clutching. Yeah, if kids are in trouble, the censors get mad. and there was a scene in Horses that made it look like a kid was in trouble. And god damn, the way that character actually works in the game is absolutely not what the censors and a lot of the gamers would have assumed it is, but is genuinely equally terrifying either. And that is that the scene shows a child who is brainwashed by the insanely and humanly cruel propaganda. You basically like get a conversation with the Hitler Youth. Like this little innocent child is repeating what they are being told by their parents without knowing better, and the stuff they are saying is fucking awful. And that is a story that needs to be told at some point. In the game, they aged her up to 20, and you can feel it. She talks like she's still a child. You can tell they aged these characters up. And some kind of story acknowledging kids repeating propaganda because kids soak up the influences of their environment and then spit it back out is horrifying for a horror story, for a horror game about social horrors instead of survival horrors. I've also had to re-record the script a couple times to make sure it doesn't sound like I'm saying whores. So yeah, rule of rose. European pearl clutching. Pearl clutching in general. If kids are in trouble and you're not in Japan, the censors get really, really spooked. In the South, they're banning talking about slavery. I don't know. You're talking about... I think you're referring to, like, the textbooks getting altered. Okay. Yeah, you know, I don't want to be the fucking asshole who's going to be all semantic about what counts as a ban and a censorship and whatnot. I'll just say that that's not what I had in mind earlier when using the word ban to refer to media getting banned. Altering textbooks is a different concept, I think, for a different conversation, but similar concept for a similar conversation. Not exactly what I had in mind, but yeah, you're onto something. I should have thought about that. It's so odd that there are parody games on Steam about a certain island where atrocities happen, but a game trying to address that topic in an artistic way other than comedy is controversial. Is this a post-irony thing? Yes, agreed. Do you think on some level of this that media literacy has generally degraded, so having a topic in your game gets interpreted as endorsement of it? Yeah, one of the reasons why the Zoomers are fucked, and apparently why Rocky Horror is not cool anymore with the kids, because the transgender character is a villain, but the story of Rocky Horror is that the conservative environment kind of turned them into a villain. And also that the villain is like full of pent-up frustration over how he was not allowed to have fun like normal people for so ever many years. Because of oppression. Yeah, the media literacy is fucked. It's also illegal to say I'm gonna kill the president. No, it's not. You just got away with it. I don't think it's degraded. It's always been awful in the US. Do you think some level of media literacy is generally degraded? I don't think it's degraded. It's just always been awful. One of the most sad things about getting into post-war media criticism is how much... I'm going to disagree with you a bit on that, because it does seem like for a couple decades after World War II, like if you just read the magazines or listen to the radio from back then, back from a time when reading magazines and newspapers was your average peasant's way of spending the time, it does seem like literacy... Sure, yes, let's include media literacy in the statement. It does seem like literacy of all kinds was on a higher point. These Massey lectures of Northrop Frye are just so dry and academic compared to literally anything anyone would hear on the radio nowadays, even public radio. And they were on Canadian public radio. I get really depressed when reading old newspapers from the 1950s and maybe the first half of the 1960s because of just how stoic and dry and literate the average reading level of the average reading material steered during that era. Before and after, that does not seem to be the case. In journalism history class, we had to read a lot of yellow journalism from the early 1900s, and that shit was fucking garbage on par with some fucking garbage from nowadays in modern media. Guess what happened 30 years later? Fascism in World War II. There might be a cycle that human history is discovering here that is really absolutely depressing to live through, and that might be that a few decades after a horrible world war, people sober up for a bit, and then the kids who grow up not knowing what that's like are absolute fucking idiots who start the cycle all over again. Mortal Kombat or GTA very briefly. Are you sure? Because Mortal Kombat didn't get banned. It was the subject of a congressional hearing to create an age rating system. Night Trap were banned. Mouthwashing was more word-of-mouth story spoilers because they used more subtext like cowards. I remember these games being controversial. I don't remember them getting banned. I think you can buy Night Trap on eBay. The cops aren't going to come for you. You can't say the same about some old... Wait, no. America is pretty lenient about this. Artsy-fartsy European movies have some scenes that would really make Americans squeamish, but you're not going to get them banned. Mortal Kombat. GTA, I actually want to say, is the most likely one on this list to qualify, and that is because it was outside the bounds of the industry-imposed age rating system that was the subject of the controversy about Mortal Kombat and Night Trap. And that is, even then, I think, stretching it, because it was one version of GTA San Andreas that got a de facto ban from storefronts. Physical copies. And it was for the mildest of shit. Valid, I think it's largely that since the barrier to entry for having a platform has been eliminated, it's sort of regression to the mean sort of problem. I think another likely explanation... No, this still falls under the same umbrella of just social collapse from conservatives, and that is payment processors not wanting to be associated with adult content anymore, while being fine with it for decades and decades. And that is because of a conservative social media, like, email campaign or something. What's the organization called? Parents First? Family First? There's some kind of conservative family-friendly advocacy organization that was pushing the payment processors to not sell any more pornography. And it seems to be working. I don't think that's directly related to what got horses in hot water. I do think it's indirectly related. It's part of the atmosphere right now. Democratization of entertainment and its consequences. Democratization is definitely the wrong word there. Write what you know and don't get hit by a van. Yeah, that's the other thing. Stephen King was way better at writing when he was on recreational drugs, and then when he got hit by a van, didn't it take him a year or so, a year and a half or something to get back in the groove? I don't know if it was actual literal brain damage. It might have been some other kind of psychological consequence, but there was a medical issue at play that fucked him up worse than the drugs. Stay out of Maine. A lot of libraries near me have sections to highlight banned books you can check out. Have you seen much? But see the contradiction in there? You could just go to the library and read them. That's not what the word means. Hamlet is monarchy propaganda to get me to feel empathy for the king. Got it. Yep. Puppy, the familiar face of tyranny. That's just it. Night Trap was released more recently. It's the censoring... Re-released more recently. It's the censoring versus banning. Yeah, sure. When we come to censoring, absolutely. There's so many more examples. Ban is like when you use the word ban, it's like, oh shit, that must have been really bad. And that's how Horses gets the appeal. Is that they did not get censored. They got banned from Steam. And Epic. And for a while, Humble. Which is like taking things to a next step up. That's when you simultaneously get in big trouble, but also get a hell of a lot of attention from customers who otherwise would not have given a shit. Which is exactly what happened to Horses. Moms for Liberty, is that the actual name? Moms for Liberty sounds like some fucking South Park joke. Oh yeah, and then there's like the South Park banned episodes because it's not profitable enough to have South Park make fun of the Prophet Muhammad. Now I'm starting to think about if South Park qualifies for the word. With whenever they try to make a Muhammad joke, South Park gets in trouble, and if you cannot stream the episode or buy it by retail, if the only way to acquire this stuff is to see an unauthorized pirated copy on a unauthorized streaming website, does that count as a ban? I think that counts as a lightweight ban. The government didn't ban it, but the corporations did. The public can still access it, but the corporations who are in charge of distribution don't want you to. The cops aren't going to arrest you for downloading one of the South Park episodes that has a Muhammad joke. The corporation's not going to arrest you, but they are going out of their way to make them hard to get. I think that would qualify as like a lightweight, low-tier corporate ban. Like a GTA San Andreas sort of ban. Mothers Against Drunk Developers, banned at some point. Those can always get reversed. I'm not sure if that's what you're thinking of, but they are a regressive bunch of cunts. If we're talking about South Park, yeah, sure, agreed. I tried. I heard some good words about some of their latest episodes and tried to watch one from a recent season where they make a bunch of Donald Trump jokes, but it still seemed like fucking garbage for 14-year-old kids. It was worse than I remember. I was into South Park when I was a teenager for maybe a year or two, and I recently watched, not recently, back in 2023 I had a horrible respiratory illness that was negative on the COVID test somehow. I was really, really sick and in bed and suffering, and my legs were paralyzed, and I was watching a bunch of comedies to try and get in a better mood, and I watched a few old classic episodes of South Park, and one of them still hit good. And that was Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. They won a GLAAD award for that one. Where the kids find out that their dog is gay and goes off to the island of gay pets where Big Gay Al is taking care of them. That one was funny. I tried watching some other classic ones that weren't funny. That's the only one I remember. And then I tried watching some modern ones that were so unfunny that I was disgusted. They were like some of the least funny attempts at comedy I've seen in a while. I didn't know why I was reading positive comments on them that got me, but they got me. The line between government and corporations, or at least capital interests, is so thin that it's non-existent. In America, maybe, not in normal countries. I'm not sure. Have you heard that the UK Parliament is banning stepbro adult content? I have not heard that. No, the moms. South Park's social commentary is hit or miss depending on how centrist they decide to be. One of the episodes I saw was basically a parody of South Park itself. It was an episode where, it was a classic episode from one of the first 3 seasons where they exhausted all of South Park's jokes. And in this episode, various unlucky citizens of South Park are spontaneously combusting. They're just exploding into fire for no reason. And, all of South Park's top scientists assemble a crack team of researchers to figure out what's going on, and they find out that these people who are spontaneously exploding are holding their farts in, so that their farts get bigger and bigger and bigger until they bubble up and spontaneously combust. And so the solution to their problem is to fart in moderation when you need to, or when it's funny, but not fart too much. Thus, they just made the joke that they think that centrism is fine and moderation is the solution to every problem ever, which they then milked for like 30 more years. South Park should have finished 3 seasons in, because they started making fun of their own selves in a pretty mean way back then, after making like one good episode where Big Gay Al takes you on his big gay boat ride. Gosh, I wish I lived in a normal country. Me too. Alright, let me play a new game. Divers. Wait, apparently I have played this one? Oh yeah, this one was cool! It was like Subnautica, but 2D, but let's play a new one. Rail Heist. The most infamous train robbers in the West pull off a series of daring heists. By the way, I had to take Vetty for the vet this week. I had to take Eddie to the vet this week. That stressed me out, but please don't worry, he's fine. It's for a very superficial issue that's already on its way healing. He had some bald spots in his fur. I got him checked out. I got a spray and some moist antiseptic wipes. And they're no longer bald spots, they are thin spots. And it's only been like 3 days of treatment. But I see he's shedding like crazy. I wonder if that has something to do with it. I sure hope not. It didn't affect his behavior. He's not in pain. He's still playful and wonderful and beautiful, and I love him. And he'll be fine in a few days. Yeah, and I got him beef flavored toothpaste. Yeah, we have a regular here, Penta Penguin. What is this? Temperature change, maybe? I hope it doesn't happen every year. The doctor... it's a superficial bacterial infection, according to the doctor's description of the disease, which sounds scary, but he was reassuring me to focus on the superficial, not the infection. And I guess he's right, because Eddie has not acted like he's in pain. You can rub these spots, you can scratch these spots, and he will not care. They're not bothering him, so I guess they really are superficial. What is it like? It's kind of like dandruff. Right, yeah, sometimes dandruff can be caused by a fungal infection, which sounds really scary, but it's just kind of a inconvenient little pain in the ass that's relatively superficial. Rail heist. Jump, punch or shoot gun, hold up to load gun, down A is roll, down X is grab. Oh, this looks complicated. Down X with object is drop, X with object is throw. Okay, so how can I memorize this? A being jump is easy enough. Punch and shoot is going to be weird, so maybe I'll figure out when I do it. How do you know which one you do? Down in A is roll. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so X is like an interact button. Down on X is grab. And you do that again to drop. Okay. Alright, let's see. Let's see me get my ass kicked. Oh, look at you trying to lick my mouth. They're a strange family. I gotta press something? I gotta press something. An abandoned mine is our home. Dodger was orphaned at the age of 8, the sole survivor of the great disaster at Armadillo's End. Rand always hides his face and babbles in his sleep about angels and demons. That's me on guard duty, next to Mr. Blue, our Ugh! Gross. Eddie fucking sneezed on me. Eddie, don't give me a superficial bacterial skin infection. Goober. He's still a cute little lovable goober boy. Oh. Eddie, if you want to jump down, I'm gonna have to steer you out of the way of the cables. He is shedding like crazy. He's been shedding while this problem has been going on. But it goes up and down every few days. Look at you. Today is one of the heavier, sheddier days. Yeah? Eddie, do you want to eat my finger? You want to lick my nose? Nose! Oh, he wants to play. Okay, before I play UFO 50 train robbery, I'm gonna play dog. Eddie. Eddie. Eddie, here. Go. Ugh. Okay, I guess that means I have an opportunity to sneak away and play video games now. Alright. As soon as I see that, like, my brain photoshops it into Ubisoft until I look at it for more than a couple frames. I'll go, baby boy. Overwrite. How complicated is this one gonna be? Hold up to load your gun. Do that now. We're gonna fucking kill people? I don't think you were allowed to kill people in Nintendo games back in the 80s. Oh, timer started. That guy's fucking dead. For some reason, these Wild Western cowboy games like to have one-shot kill rules. Oh, it's turn-based? For some reason, Wild Western shootout games also like being all strategic and turn-based. 2, 1... Okay, how is this working? What's going on here? Is there drop shadow behind our character? Also, why am I instinctively pressing grab jump? Oh, I get it. You want to stay out of the line of sight of enemies. How can you... Okay, so... Whoa. So this is a turn-based side-scrolling action game. Okay. If they're if they're looking at you, they shoot you. And that can happen while it's not your turn and you have control. Wait, I have 2 bullets. No, no. Apparently I don't. Okay. Oh, come on. I thought I was clever. So I guess you waste most of their time if they're punched with stars, but not all their time. Can I jump on them? I want to restart this anyway so that I can use the crates for climbing like I did in my first run. I'll take one of these. Yeah! That's rad! Can you non-lethal no-trank your way through this? Does my guy not have to fucking kill people? Do I need that crate to jump? Yes, I do. Okay, so don't punch every crate you see. Oops! Escape to Mr. Blue. Okay, so you want the... You want the money, the money crate. Can I get him in the legs? Wait, how many bullets do I have? Not entirely sure how the gunplay rules. Yeah. Fuck me! It's a turn-based, side-scrolling action extraction shooter. Jesus Christ, what did they do? This is wild. Alright, Dodger. Ain't no way they're expecting you, so just keep your cool. Bring back that money. Sounds for you, Brand. We can get you onto the roof of the train, but you'll have to find your own way inside. I guess there's a rating system too. I got 1 out of 3 stars. Press down. Fix to break floor. Gosh, I'm really impressed at the game design here. So they've like arrange something that's supposed to feel cinematic with these 8-bit Nintendo graphics and rules that a NES could process. Just press down X to break floor, but that floor looks pretty solid. If I drop down now, I'll get shot. What do I do? Oh, okay. So you can destroy chunks of the environment? I don't know how much experimenting I'll really be able to do with the game working the way it does. That horse sprite looks beautiful, by the way. I've been on a horse's kick lately for some reason. In the graphics, yeah, it looks like I should have 6 shots or something like that, but when it comes time to shoot people, I only have 1. That's a lot more than 6. 1. Oh, is that how many bullets I have to use for the whole level? Okay. Can I actually restart this other one? Let me just get myself killed. Ooh. Doink! Doink! Pew, pew. Oops, wrong block. Wait, can I load my gun and, like, prepare for them? Because it seems kind of silly if... Oh, I should have looked the other way if I'm really going to be experimenting with these systems. What was he going to do with that? Okay, the bars are the timer for how long it takes to load a bullet. The ammo is in the top left. Yeah, we're just going to experiment for a few rounds. Okay, one of those bullet graphics just went away. Pew! So I want to see what happens when I load another. Oh, yep, we went away. We're all gray. Okay, so what about the 4 little orange... Is that money? Or is it sticks of dynamite I can blow up the train with? Is every level a train robbery, by the way? With this parallax scrolling background. Pew, pew. Oh, wait, once I go down, I won't be able to go up. Can I drop down on this? Ooh. Oh, let me camp a corner before my turn's over. Okay, I'm gonna try camping a corner now and see if my guy shoots a bad guy who goes in his line of sight. Oh, dun dun dun! This one! This one kicks ass! This is my new favorite UFO game. Pew! Oh, I wanted to go back down the ladder while he was stunned, but I think he's out of ammo. Out of bullets. Okay. Why don't turn-based tactics games ever give you a real-time replay at the end? John Wick's Hex tried it and it was bad, but come on, there's got to be at least more than one out there that has exist. Oh! 2, 1, no, we won't make it. It just snuck. Okay. I'm up. But I think I can make it out of here. I see a route. Oh, you use those as weapons. Ran out of time. In the background, they jumped us up at the sheriff's office. This is. I'm still. I think the streaming is making me worse at learning the rules fast. But I am really impressed with this one. So in like Mario Brothers 2, I wanna punch. I want to pick boxes up and throw them at the bad guys. I bet this is gonna feel really, really fun when I know what I'm doing and get good at it. What does the chicken do? Oh, it makes you slow fall! I don't want to do that. Okay, let's just go. But I kind of want to replay the first level now that I know what I'm doing. This job's for you, Brand. You know what I should do? I should watch the Dollars trilogy. I've never actually seen those movies all the way through. I've only seen snippets of them on TNT television. Time goal 24. Okay, so I guess chasing that is what teaches you how to be real good at this game real fast. Guys, I think we found my new favorite UFO 50 game. I want to stick with this one for a while. We might stick with this one for 31 minutes and 40 seconds. In an alternate reality, James Rolfe is screaming curse words trying to play this. I don't know. If it's an alternate reality, though, wouldn't it be like Jimmy Dolph? Screaming creative euphemisms? What did they call the console in the UFO 50? Hang on, let's read the description. That's like half the fun. Takes place in a world of Lone Star, a setting also used by the game Grimstone. Really? I thought it took place in the West. Somewhere here they tell you the name of the console, and I don't know, it's not that exciting. I don't know why I it up. LX2! Allowed for more colors for Sprite. Alright, let's get back to... Hang on, what is the name of this game? I need to make sure. Rail Heist. Beat 2 levels? That's all I gotta do? Why is there... Is that a 5 or an S in the parentheses? To get a gift, beat level 10. Okay. Someone might have to give me a refresher too. I forgot what the difference is. You don't really beat these games until you get the red cartridge. Which is really weird because I met the conditions to beat this one and I got a gold cartridge and it was suspiciously easier. Cherry win first place and like I guess I'm looking at the difference right now. But why are these others blue? Because I really got into some of these for a while. Onion Delivery is always a good favorite, but I don't ever think I really got good at it. Magic Garden. Never got impact. Is it worth actually getting good enough to beat any of these games? Anyways, Rail Heist. This is fucking adorable. This is so creative. This is stretching the limits of their game jam rule here, where everything has to be all low tech and 8-bit in a way that is incorporating the modern obsession with cinematic games and making it look like you're playing a movie scene. Yeah, what does it look like when the developers are playing? That looks fucking cool! He just did an action roll under the... Holy cow! Yeah, I would love to see what this looks like in real time with music in the background. This is... So you have a very versatile character, and you use only 2 buttons to do all that stuff. And you can camp them out, okay. How do you do the action rolls? I didn't know you could do action rolls in this game. Oh no, the chicken! So you have to think strategically and twitchy. Okay. So even the game developer putting on a demo for you makes a mistake. I'm gonna go scurry over and just double check that my timer for the render is still accurate. I'll be right back. Uh-oh, it's almost midnight. Good news, everybody! It's actually supposed to be finished in 13 minutes, so let me set my timer for 14 minutes. That means that the video will have finished a whole 15 minutes earlier than I thought it would an hour ago. Okay, gold is trophy, usually beating the game. Red is cherry, usually really hard. Blue is if you have neither. See, that kind of weirds me out. I don't feel like I beat the Big Bell race. I obsessed over some of these others for a while. Bug Hunter. Yeah, I enjoy Bug Hunter. I feel like I got good at it, but the demands were pretty... Oh. Yeah, okay, hang on. Look, it's still blue, though. Is it? I don't fucking... Is it turquoise or light purple or some fucking George unfriendly color? Ugh. Yeah, if I take in the whole frame, it looks kind of blue. And now... No, it is the same color as all the other cartridges. Okay, so Bug Hunter. I got good at it, but I didn't beat it, but it's blue. So shouldn't it be gold? Complete your first job. That was harder than they make it sound, but I did it. Also, Barbuda is a demanding mistress. I obsessed over Barbuda. I really loved Barbuda for a little while until I got utterly stuck, and I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what the next puzzle solution is going to be. Don't tell me! Don't spoil! Or the capsule bowl, perhaps. And that's still blue. There's got to be only like one puzzle left in that game to do everything possible in it, and it's still blue. Visit at least 25 rooms. I did it, but it's still blue. Blue is if you have neither. The house is a different thing. It gives you furniture in the garden. Gold and cherry requirements are to the left of the house requirement. Liberate the castle. Gold and cherry are to the left of the house requirement. I feel like I've eaten 3 sandwiches, but I haven't beaten it. Golden cherry requirements. Does that mean that this one will not turn? Okay. Okay, does that mean that some of these games will never turn cherry? Pass all 25 courses and defeat the pink racer. So there's 3 different tiers of challenge, and not all the games have all 3. Magic Garden is the one that took up most of my time, because I could play that while listening to lectures and audiobooks. This is the one that I've beaten the most. But one thing, at some point you're like supposed to have a story going on, and I never ever got that. I remember reading game developers on Twitter talk about, or Blue Sky, whatever, talk about how much they loved this game because you played through a history of a fake video game company. but there was supposed to be like a narrative of some ups and downs, some drama at play, and I've never really gotten that either. Maybe some characters, like some of the games are supposed to represent the personalities in the drama, but I'm not getting that feeling either. It seems, as far as like any kind of story or narrative design goes, it seems so much less intense than what I was expected, and I'm still confused a year and a half later about just how cryptic it all is. All the games have all three. Do you not see the extra tiers of challenge until you get all the way there? I'm trying to think of which one of these I'm good enough to actually... I guess the Big Bell Race. I remember this being weirdly easy. Is that just me? Win first place in at least one race. Okay. But for Cherry, win first place in all 8 races. Let me give it a go. It might have been... maybe not a full year, but almost a year since I last played this, so I'm gonna be rusty. What am I saying? I was just playing a new one that I was, like, really loving. I get hung up on skill challenges. I've not got the most time-efficient gamer tendencies sometimes when a game is giving me a fun challenge that's really, really hard that's going to take way too much time. Okay, what actually starts the timer? I want to reset this. I thought shooting starts the timer, but that was a block throw. What a funny way to die. Boom, 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 boom. I thought it would take extra fall damage, but nope. I can't fit. I'm gonna have to break it. I thought you got extra points or something for... maybe in other levels where it's possible. I'm wondering if you get extra points or something for bringing the whole crate back to the horse instead of breaking it and bringing a handful of pathetic little coins. This is still such a ridiculously cool concept. Turn-based, side-scrolling, extraction shooter action where you... I didn't even read the description. I was so excited about describing the game. So, some of these are evil, man. Don't aim for 50 cherries or you'll go insane. I think anything with noise like explosions or shooting starts the timer, or if they see you. Okay, okay. How the hell would a 2-player mode work with this? I'd do this job myself if it weren't for them old bones, but you can handle it, Maria. We'll smuggle you in with the cargo. Just make sure you get both money crates. Oh, there was a tip on the bottom of the description I didn't see. Come on, come on, come on. I'm very excited to get this going. Press down next on object to pick up. Oh, I already knew that. Good thing I don't have to click through a gazillion bazillion menus to see little bits of text I missed. Uh-oh. I'm stuck! Oh! I found out how you action roll! I'm sorry, I had to. It turns out it's not an action roll, it's just a permanent state of action rolling. Can I just roll into the wall forever? Yes. Alright, well we have 80 seconds. We can't dick around too much. I can't believe you can action roll while holding the crates. Oops. So if they see a crate flying past their field of vision, they'll get spooked and sound the timer. This makes me want to watch the Fistful trilogy over the weekend. I really need to flush a lot of this horses period of my life where my mom had a stroke around the turn of like where I put out a lot of good videos in December that I was proud of, and looking forward to getting back in the swing with a nuanced, well-read bunny hop take on a controversial news topic of this horses game that got banned for weird reasons. And then my mom had a stroke, and I had to drive back and forth. And then I got sick and started vomiting. And then Eddie got sick and started getting bald patches. And now the condo tower has announced that old people and handicapped people can't use the entrances to the buildings closest to their parked cars. I'm hoping that in the future this will feel like a distinct period of my life, that all the other projects I'd like to do for the rest of the year will not be delayed by so much bullshit. Oops. Oh no, I just missed it. Oh, can I action roll out of the hole? Yeah, that was slick. Oops. Oh man, when you get good at these controls, you can like really snap out some cool moves. Wha-cha, wha-ha, whoo, hee, whoop, wonk. Oh wait, I did that wrong. This is more efficient than pressing the actual reset button in the menu. Wha-cha, wha-ha, hee, wha. No! This is a very dangerous George game. If you're incentivized to like play an action sequence over and over again until it looks really cool and also feels really cool, and the logic of the rules that you're piecing together when you do it are really fucking cool, but you're supposed to replay it over and over again for perfect. If it's like Super Hot, this is like Super Hot. I feel like I'm playing a two-dimensional 8-bit spin-off of Super Hot. Oh, this is gonna blow up the ceiling so I can drop down. I just need to make sure I blow it up from a safe distance. Oops! How do you pick things up and have a gun loaded at the same time? Ah, that guy snuck up on me. Every time I hear someone say horses, all I think of is a bit from Aqua Teen. I don't remember the horses episode. I should watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force next time I get infected with some kind of horrible illness that requires comedy to fix. Oh, do I have to load the gun every turn? Hey, I thought I was loaded. It's kinda weird now. Don't I get a super punch or something soon? Auto punch. Okay. Oh. I thought the auto punch would give me the time to get another turn. This is complicated. Okay, so that guy's got to get off his station somehow. Timer stopped. So apparently auto punch at close range is not enough. I gotta get a safer distance from the guy. You think the star crate will give me a little sheriff star I can put on my vest? Oops, I missed. God, I wasted so much time playing the same sequences over and over again in Super Hot VR. Wait, that wasn't a waste of time. I was burning calories. I was exercising. Oh, they're guarding the money. Interesting. The AI is a little bit intelligent, actually. Oh! I love that you can trick them into friendly fire. That's so evil. Oh! Oh! Hang on a second, something important came up. I might have to go to the other computer for longer than 60 seconds. So that means going down to Gardan. Okay, also, like, someone said that the house is different from the garden? Not entirely sure what they mean by that. Maybe someone could post an explanation of what is actually going on here, because I've been playing this game on and off for a year and a half, and I still don't fully understand the progression elements to it. What kind of story I'm supposed to be uncovering, or what kind of fun cabinet of extra doodads I'm... We'll be right back. Alright, kiddos. Those of you who have a Nebula subscription might be seeing this thing in a few minutes. Every time I hear someone, StarCrit has an upgrade. Oh, so that's what the upgrades come from. Okay, StarCrit has an upgrade. Very good. I love that they put a guy there just to get pushed off the train every. The house is the garden. The house/garden criteria is what you were looking at when you thought you were looking at gold criteria. There are 3 things you can collect from each game. First is the garden item, which you can see the requirement for. Second is the gold trophy, which turns the cartridge golden. The requirement in the metal shape tab. Finally, the cherry turns the cartridge red and can be seen in the metal tab only after. Okay, I think the cherry requirement not being revealed until the gold requirement is met might be the piece of the puzzle I'm missing. The other piece of the puzzle I'm missing is that it seems unreasonably hard, but that's evidently not just me. Alright, let's do this again. Wait, let me take another look at the garden requirement. Beat level 10. Okay. So basically, like, play a little campaign. Thank you. The helpful advice. Ah. I should stay up there and let my turn run out, shouldn't I? Or should I? I'm gonna take a different route and see if that's fun too. It's gonna shoot me. I don't think this is gonna work. And when you beat a game with the cherry requirement, it no longer tells you what the cherry requires. The fact that I've only managed to make it happen once feels like it's made this interface problem that much worse. Ugh, I'm having trouble crouching and punching this one. Uh-oh. I liked my original route better. Wait, this guy is totally safe to kill. Oh, you want the crate for the gun? Let's just It's so mean that they make your sprite slide back into the background with the scrolling. The 80s would have been so much cooler. Wait, are we still in the 80s? The 80s would have been so much cooler if this was a real game. 87. Oh, this is light years ahead of what we had in 87. Is it? Yeah, it's widescreen. Look at that. That resolution's way higher than an actual NES game from 87. Say nothing of how complicated and cinematically meaningful the game design is. What was the closest thing to this that was around in 87? I don't know if anything qualifies. Pew! Like, for starters, you fucking kill people. Out of bullets, I thought I had 2. Who needs bullets when you got ow. Ow. Got off your crate. Ah. So does anyone watching this have a Nebula subscription? Whoever has a Nebula subscription, please keep the homepage on Get that new tab up. I wanna see if someone else will be the one to notice. Okay, I do have 2 bullets. One of them's just getting used on the dynamite. Alright, I just caused a diversion. Oh, this kicks ass. This game is fucking rad. I hope there's auto throw. I got an idea. Okay, so how am I supposed to imagine that? Am I supposed to imagine my character punching through the steel of the floor? Oh, can I block him or waste his time? Looks kind of like it, yeah. How much time do I have? 30 seconds. Alright, let's get out of here. We have 13 seconds. Probably... Oh, wait. Can I get out of here? Do I need to climb on... grade I no longer have? Oh, I need to take the long ladder. Time is running out. I know, you're rubbing it in. Look at my girl's huge hair. I have a huge head of purple. Oh, that kicked so much ass. Framing it as a heist with an escape kind of feels like it's adding more excitement to the scenario by default. And games in the 80s didn't know how to incorporate a sort of cinematic narrative structure that just adds excitement to the scene by default. My friend has one. I'll be seeing them on Monday, so I check. Oh no, it'll be out on YouTube by tomorrow morning. It's just gonna take a couple hours to upload. You know, I'll still say tonight. I still got the video out tonight. Granted, it might be... I think I began this stream predicting that the video would be out at like fucking 12:15 or something, therefore it might not count as tonight. I forgot to read the description of it. It's really cool. The sheriff is getting wise to our game, so this time his lawmen will be on active patrol. Better move past. The cock is kicked. The cock is twitching. Better move fast. This looks complicated. They're like puzzles. This is a tactical puzzle game. Oh, right, there's control tips in the description. Let me take another look at that. I learned how to action roll on my own, but maybe it comes up as a tip here. Hold A while crouching to roll. Yeah! You got Nebula up, F5, and keep F5 buddy, it'll be there any minute. The rendering always goes way slower than the uploading. My old ass computer hardware, nothing at all like the Nebula upload servers. Although I'm just now realizing at some point 1080p is gonna be obsolete. I'm gonna have to render 1440p videos, and that's gonna take another hour unless I upgrade my CPU from 2011. Oops. Does the timer begin by default on this one? I love that you can punch the floor and just drop them out. I also want to ask about this drop shadow. It's too bad Kanzi isn't in the stream. The sprites have a kind of drop shadow effect to them It looks like it's given a little bit of a black outline between the simulated, emulated pixel grid of the pixel art, which means that you are seeing a high. Yeah, see under her hat, his hat, whoever's hat this is. You can see a bit of a drop shadow effect, and that looks too high resolution for actual 8-bit retro gaming. And I think that might be breaking a rule that Shovel Knight followed. I think that might be breaking a rule that some of the other games are following. You could upscale the video to Ultra HD. That's what I do in my TV show, but I export it back to FHD. What's FHD? Because that's public access station's resolution limit. Okay. Damn, so this is like a whole nother world. Upscaling to Ultra HD also gives you the finer color grade option. This sounds way beyond me. This sounds like not what I'm doing. I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Oh no! A post-AI economy. I'm really not seeing 1080p getting... FHD is 1080, okay. What's the F stand for? Full HD. Yeah, because back in like 2007 when shopping for a TV, you had to pay attention to the difference between HD and full HD. Shit. Oh, okay, good. Get chickened! Holy shit, this game's awesome! Uh-oh, I'm trapped. Let me see if I have Nebula logged in on this computer. Because I think it would be a good idea to end the stream when the video goes up on Nebular. Nebula.tv. Okay, so we want Bunny Hop. I'm still not there. Email. Okay. F5. I'm gonna go scurry. I'm not gonna be long. Just a couple seconds. I just want to see what the timer is saying. It doesn't give me a timer, it gives me a percentage. It's 25% done. However much time passed since I last scurried off, multiply it. We gotta wait through that time 3 more times. I think that's reasonable. I think I'll call the stream after it uploads. I don't know exact, I wasn't looking at the clock, but it feels like it might have been 10 or 11 minutes since I was in there. Which means 20 to 30 more minutes and it'll be on Nebula. Gotta get a nice crop going. There we go. And harvest this crop. So that Tammy Roche thumbnail change to a horse's thumbnail. I hated back when they just sold you 3/4 of the TV. The cameras record my show in a single unbroken video file, so all I have to do is use the autocorrect in Premiere, and the whole episode is color graded. Color grading's not something I really gotta worry about when most of the video is gonna be gameplay footage of something I'm just recording from an existing artist's work who already had to deal with that shit instead of me. Trying to get him to go down there, thank you. I did have to play around with a little bit of color grading and live action footage in this video, but I'm not going to spoil. It's a funny gag idea. I'm proud. Oh, neat! They have some kind of stealth AI going on. This shit is crazy. Okay, but first I need to make this guy dizzy and protect myself somehow. You just gonna turn around and shoot me? Dun 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 dun! Shit. I also completely forgot that RE2 Remake has a black and white mode, but it's locked behind the Noir DLC. I saw a comment on the Metal Gear Solid 3 black and white video that suggested, hypothesized, that maybe the reason why it looks so good in black and white is because the game was designed to have the camouflage-based gameplay where all the different chunks of the screen would be instantly visible different color patterns to show you what places are safe to hide and what aren't. And so when you turn it to black and white, there's a sense of ironic color grading going on that's already baked into the level design. I think I did mention something like that in the video. About how when the camera is from an overhead perspective, it makes it easier to see which textures are where. My guy got fucked up! Oh. Oh, this one's good. This absolutely, positively is my new favorite UFO 50. I can see myself really getting sucked. Maybe I should just leave the sentence. I can really see myself getting sucked into this one. Okay, so that was a quick draw. That is so funny! Okay, is this some Rainbow Six Siege inspiration I'm seeing? Would that move had been in the game if Rainbow Six Siege had not existed? Ooh, got me right in the hat. I should have brought a barrel with me. Punching a hole in the wall and then shooting your gun through it is something that takes such a, like, three-dimensional and materials-based understanding of a video game environment that it seems like that's the kind of idea that wouldn't have even hit 8-bit game developers, where the lines of the drawing of the level design that they're making is like as two-dimensional and solid as the graph paper they were drawing it on. UFO 50 is so wild like that because they're trying to make it sound like the psychology of modern game development is being applied to a fake 80s retro game, and I am wondering if this is a case where these ideas would not have even come into developers' heads without fancier 3D games with destructible environments already existing first. God damn, this is cool. Fuck! Oh, I love this. I have not had this much fun playing UFO 50 since, I don't know, maybe the first day I booted it up. They do say that, like, you can go through this collection for hours and not feel anything until one of the games suddenly speaks to your soul, right? The closest I might have come was with Magic Garden, but that was just because it felt like a good Tetris clone to me, like a puzzle game to spend time with, not a real... Like I'm vividly imagining a really cool action movie sequence here in a way that I was definitely not with Magic Garden. Okay, that guy's gonna auto-shoot me if I try the Rainbow Six Siege move again. If I try to Tom Clancy him through the hole in the wall. Rainbow Six Siege clearly stole it from this game. Can I bait a shot and duck under? No, you have no control. I can't even tweak a little pixel of protection out of him. This is awesome, by the way. Has it been 20 minutes? Refresh. Refresh. Not been 20 minutes yet. Why is the timer starting at the beginning of this stage, though, and not the others? I don't feel any less sneaky. In fact, I feel more sneaky. Look at me sneaking down there, right under his nose. The controls are a little hard. That has been a problem I've had with UFO 50 games, is that the insistence on, like, only 2 buttons plus directional combinations. Oh, God. One of these games I fucking... Where is it? This little fucking bastard! Yeah, Mooncat. Someone was making some kind of clever, funny joke about Mooncat earlier, but no, Mooncat can eat my parfait. I fucking hate Mooncat. Mooncat's for assholes and libertarians. Don't go down the hole. The demo shows you can bait a shot up the ladder with the chicken. Is this the demo level? Also, this like hybrid gameplay between strategy and action is just, it's Georging me out. I love having to think tactically and strategically at the same time. Is there only one crate for this stage? Maybe I should try bringing the crate to the horse and see what happens. Oh, I can't, can I? Ooh, maybe I can. Is this guy gonna auto-shoot? Oh, not if I crate him first. What am I saying with words? Yoink! Bait. Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Okay, we'll try again. So the idea is to like find a route. This is kind of like a speedrunning. This kind of game design may not have existed in the 80s until the fans come up with like speedrunning culture first. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible to narrow down exactly why or how this game didn't exist in the 80s or this style of game design, but it's because ideas don't hit people until previous ideas hit them earlier, and there is nothing new under the sun. It's almost like the game is trying to tell a message about how human originality and ideas work. Okay, so that's not a big deal. It just takes time for my turn. If I mash buttons, nope. It doesn't look like mashing buttons makes it go away any faster. This is so stupid! How much time do I have? Do I got 60 seconds still? Time paradox. You can't retcon the past. Not with that attitude. A lot of this kind of game design started with optimizing Doom. I can't think of anything from the 80s like this at all. Turn-based strategy games existed. I mean, games in general were just getting getting started in a serious way, even though they like been around for a decade earlier. But this degree of complexity combined with this much of a yo, this might not have even existed without Metal Gear Solid existing first because it's so cinematic. One of the goals being chased here is to make a game play like movies, and that really wasn't part of the agenda until 3D graphics started to get going. Until graphics were better than this. The idea of the game looking and feeling like you're playing a movie scene is something that didn't really connect to people's brains until games either looked like anime or started looking like 3D. Japan was ahead of the curve a few years on all of that. Huh. I mean, if I think of turn-based strategy games from the 80s in general, my options are really limited. It's you got Mule. Utopia was real time, right? I'm not an expert. I was not really around. I definitely do not think I remember playing any 80s turn-based strategy games on my cousin's hand-me-down NES. Turn-based strategy wasn't a very popular console gaming genre. It was more of a computer thing. Campaign 84. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, was that a presidential election game? That's funny. Oh, that poor guy! That's the other thing, is that like the violence is on a more grisly level. Unless you're in Japan, video games are toys for kids. You're not allowed to fucking kill people with guns. Even if it's a romantic fantasy western sort of setting. Fantasy western. What I mean is that this is a romanticized, western. You can't grab things with bullets in your gun? Who came up with this? What in tarnation's going on here? I replayed the first 4 Splinter Cells recently and noticed a funny parallel with Metal Gear, where the first game has 2 different versions, but the inferior version sold better. You mean the PS2 version? I think the one I ended up playing was the PC version. Yeah, that was one of the first games I figured out how to pirate. You were seen putting your shoes on before your pants. This would be really cool as a James Bond game. If the ideas that were needed to seed this didn't exist in game form back in the 80s, they sure did in movie form. God damn, that action rolling feels so cool. But yeah, I could imagine this existing in the 80s as a James Bond game. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not thinking. I was thinking out loud, not with my brain. You use your fingers to grab stuff and also pull the trigger. Okay, to think about it. That makes a little more sense. So X is just like your character squeezing their hand. Cool. I love old Western music and how it sounds like horses trotting around. I love it when music sounds like the thing it's supposed to make you think about. You can't copyright that, can you? You can't copyright a song going... You can't copyright music sounding like horses, can you? I've made the same mistake 3 times. I'm having too much fun talking rather than playing. Let me do this for real. See, wouldn't this look super cool and funny if you were James Bond instead of a cowboy bandit? Oh, that's the other thing. We're playing as bandits. Yeah, so on top of there being violence where you fucking kill people, you're like doing a crime fantasy thing, and that wasn't really palatable for public taste until Grand Theft Auto. It took forever for games to do crime fantasies. Oh. Yeah, if this game existed in the 80s, you would be James Bond. You would be a secret agent fighting evil, not an evil character doing evil. Oh, I didn't see him. Okay, so how are you supposed to manage the off-screen space in this game? Do you, like, pay attention and shut up with your mouth on your Twitch stream when the turns are being displayed? Or do you mitigate the risk and don't approach the edges unless you know it's safe ahead of time? Oh, get down there, you goober! Okay, how did I get my way out of this one earlier? I hid in the oh, okay. I don't think I'm gonna make it out of this one. Alright. I'm gonna refresh one more time, and then I'm gonna challenge myself to shut my fucking mouth and actually pay attention to what I'm doing in the cool video game about train robbing. Oh, nope, still not up. Oops. I was trying to throw it at him, but my finger slipped on the controls. Lesson learned. Oh! Oh, what? Holy shit, he's going down to investigate that. This game has stealth game AI. That was impossible with the computers we had in the 80s. I think they're breaking the rules of the technological limitations with this one. I think the graphics and the programming are processing more resources than an authentically retro gaming experience would allow. Also, how safe am I on this ladder? Hey, pretty safe. Oh, never mind! Off-screen space got me again. Elevator action. Otto enters a 30-story building at roof level with the goal of exiting the ground floor, collecting secret documents whose locations are marked by red doors. Is this an extraction shooter? Maybe. Elevator action. Do you shoot people in elevator action? Otherwise, it's just an extraction action. Extraction elevator action. Okay, hang on. How am I gonna... When I'm not... crapping my taxes. I'm slapping my fingers with elevator action. I'm gonna pay attention to the game. If I was in a more poetic mood, I could make a fun rhymey joke about elevator action and extraction. But listen, guys, it's been a busy week. The parallax scrolling going on is something that you needed a Super Nintendo to do. They're breaking some kind of 8-bit rule with that. Some NES games could fake it though, so maybe. Kirby's Adventure fakes it. Kirby's Adventure is fucking gorgeous even today. Wasn't I playing that on stream a little while ago? Oh, poor guy. Uh-oh. I'm out. Bye. I'm back. I was trying to smash X as soon as I got up, but I guess you can't quick draw. It's all the camper's gonna win no matter what. I've had trouble pushing this guy in this hole. But I've had too much fun in this level to really worry about it. Also, this did not turn out to be a quickie stream like I was expecting. This turned out to be not a normal stream either. I'm 2.5 hours in. I'm not going for the full 4 hours. I'm going to fucking bed. Should I put this one on YouTube? I thought this was going to be a bad stream, but this has turned out to be a wonderful stream. And it might just be because I discovered my new favorite UFO 50 game. I'm just wondering if I shouldn't upload it because I might have gotten some facts wrong with my off-the-cuff topic of the history of game bans and how much more skimpy that history is in the US compared to other countries. Like, the US has, like... In the US, you have less bans of media over the course of the country's whole entire history, this past 10 years notwithstanding, but way more moral panics about media. Where the laws, the speech laws at least, are more liberal, but the people are more conservative. Man, these past 10 years have fucking sucked. And they've suckin' fucked. Am I ever gonna beat this one? I feel like I've had so much fun failing, which I think is another thing that modern games are embracing more than retro games did. That I ain't even mad that I'm stuck at it doesn't even feel like I'm stuck. Every new route, every new attempt has something fun going on. So, you only get one shot per reload, don't ya? Okay, so... oh, shit. Yeah, I fucked myself. But I can't believe that punching a hole in the wall and then shooting a gun through it is, like, as legit of a strategy as it has turned out to be here. Is it worth the time to get the power up? I got 69 seconds. I think that's worth it. Also, if you make noise, they go and investigate it. That's insane. Yo, that's crazy. Uh-oh. Okay, good. He's going the other way. music is so cool. So, I bet when you get really good at this game, you learn how to non-lethal no-trank your way through these stages in a way that looks like a really cool James Bond action scene. And kicks so much ass. You can stay crouching behind during their turn. I know, but it's... That's the thing. It's so fun not to. It's so fun to leap out into danger and die in this game. That's more fun than hiding behind a crate and actually winning the game. I'm having so much fun failing. That's how you know it's a good game. So it would be a good idea to crouch when the timer hits 0, I guess, is the strategy I need to finally learn after so many failed attempts, right? Oh, and I need to do something with this. See, okay, this is so fucking good. As soon as I saw that you could punch the ceiling and make a guy drop down, all of my thoughts of actually playing this level seriously and beat it took a second priority to that one, to doing something silly and laughing about it. Oh wait, I shouldn't go that way. I think, are you faster while rolling? Should I be rolling everywhere instead of walking? It definitely feels cooler, so yes, I should be. Ah. Oh, let me make stairs. Yo! This idea of stacking the barrels to make stairs? Like, is this something that never would have hit the developer's mind without more complicated 3D games existing in the first place? Because that's a Deus Ex thing. Deus Ex was revolutionizing stair improvising technology in games. I'm gonna auto-shoot this guy. There we go. Uh-oh. And then I got auto-shot myself. Yeehaw, I'm spin dashing. I'd say this is better than the last level of Back to the Future 3 on Genesis. What kind of a reference was that? Listen, dude, how long has it been? Answer this question seriously, because I'm actually genuinely curious how many people are playing these games these days. How long has it been since you played Back to the Future 3 on Sega Genesis? And do you recommend it? I need something to play on my emulation handheld when staying up at night being a lonely man. Okay, how do I gently place this down? Oh, that was a satisfying environmental manipulation. Oops! I'm turning the wrong way. Oh, thank God! I wanted to auto-shoot that guy, but I accidentally turned myself in the wrong direction and couldn't... Oops! I wanted to action roll, but accidentally pressed the wrong button. Nebula's up! I think it's genuinely been 15 years. I am gonna upload this video. The fans like seeing me in a good mood, and something fucking genuinely awful happened. It's up. It's up. That means everyone gets to see the thumbnail. This beautiful thumbnail that me and my new internet friend Ice Cream V made. The shocking inoffensiveness of horses is now a video that exists on the internet. Let me get this crop right. I think I will put this VOD up on YouTube. I was expecting this stream to be awful. I was expecting me to be real sad about this anti-elderly, anti-handicap, inaccessibility issue that just passed at the condo building. But I'm pretty darn happy to get this project out of the way. I'm pretty proud of the writing. Definitely proud of the thumbnail. All right, I'm gonna call it here, and encourage all who have a Nebula subscription to go watch it here. It'll be on YouTube in a few hours. But I make a little bit more money from the Nebula, so I'm pushing that one. That was fun. It feels great to get another big video essay out of the way, but I cannot sleep easy. I want to crap a quick video essay out next week. Something I have not done in over a decade. It might not be good, but it will be important to butter the audience up for the GoFundMe promotions going on at the end of the month, which are going to be extremely important that I maximize that to make sure that the legal funds get paid, and that it might reverse this issue with the elderly having to walk completely around the building into a lane uphill of oncoming traffic to get to the front door, because that's the only door they're now allowed to use. This seems so ridiculously illegal that it shouldn't last very long. And if they might end up going back to City Hall again about this one. Now I'm getting bummed out again, but I got a video essay out of the way. I've got a strategy on how to maximize the crowdfunding going on later this week, and it will all incorporate me showing the internet my best sides of myself. And tonight's stream, I think I did that. Yes. Have a good night, everyone. I love you.